Okay, today without any notes, I'm just going to go through some of the stuff I got in the mail. A few months ago I got this little brochure about Break Forth Canada 2016, which is supposed to be about extravagant grace. And that came with this, some paperwork. And then more recently I got the larger brochure in the mail, which I was supposed to be waiting for on tenterhooks. So I'm just going to take a look at what's in here. Break Forth. Okay, there's going to be some apologetics. That stuff will be okay. Lee Strobel, Josh McDowell. Okay, they have some good stuff. But here's what else is going to be on here. Late night festivals throughout our venue, from comedy to music and more. Comedy concerts. We want to give you the first chance to register. That's why we got this months ago. We were given the first chance to register for the astonishing lineup, it says. They assure us that God is in this. God is going to be in it, they say. Let's see, we'll take a look at this a little bit. Late night festivals. Okay. We're going to have Bill and Pam Farrell. And they're the authors of a string of bestsellers, including the hit Men Are Like Waffles and Women Are Like Spaghetti. Now this reminds us of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And this, I guess, is their answer. This is the Christian answer. Men are like waffles, women are like spaghetti. That's really lots of good biblical stuff there. Now let's take a look at the larger brochure. This is probably the last chance that we'll get to register. Let's take a look in there, see what we have. We have Sharon Garlow Brown, author of the best-selling spiritual formation novel Sensible Shoes. And so she and her husband serve as co-pastors in West Michigan. I see that there are a lot of co-pastors in this Break Forth. That's very prominent, even though the Bible forbids that, forbids women to teach men, especially spiritual things. But that doesn't matter to Break Forth, because they're going to tell the Bible and the Christians how to do it, and that's with a pastor, wife, and husband team, and it's very proper to put that in that order, the wife, husband, team. Because when a pastor has a wife who's a pastor, the wife is in charge of that union, and that's why she's a pastor. She's in charge. What else do we have? Neil and Cheryl Josephson. They've served years as marriage pastors. That's what they call them now, marriage pastors. We have Andy Steiger. He created and hosted the Thinking series and is the author of Thinking, answering life's 5 biggest questions. 5. He's narrowed it down to 5. Gary Chapman. He wrote something called The 5 Love Languages, which reminds us of The 4 Loves by C.S. Lewis. So he wanted to ride on those coattails to do his own thing. 5 love languages, but in the Bible we don't have 5 love languages. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. He's going to show us that there are 5. We have Linnea Salt, probably the daughter of one of the Salts, and I think they're the ones behind this whole thing. She's a Grammy winner, and that's thumbs up on that for Break Forth. Whatever is winning with the world, that's going to win with converting sinners to being Christians. Dr. Michelle Anthony. Now this is really something, because we got Dr. Michelle Anthony has over 25 years of church ministry and leadership experience. And yet on the picture here, she looks like she's 14 years old. She has all that experience. Wonderful stuff. What kind of workshops do they have? Inner healing. Do I like myself? Do I like myself? That's a question that you don't really find in the Bible, do you? Do I like myself? Self-esteem and all that? That's not in the Bible. What else do we have? What's so amazing about grace? Elective E, Philip Yancey. How can we convey this rich gift to the world at large? The gift of grace. How are we going to convey that to the world at large? Well, Philip Yancey teaches that God is looking down upon the earth with a smile, not a frown. And if that's true, does anybody need to be converted? Did Jesus have to die on the cross? If God is smiling on humanity, we're all right. We don't even need break forth. We don't need the Bible. We don't need preaching. We don't need any of that. We don't need churches. We don't need Christians. We don't need God. We don't need anything. He's already smiling. According to Philip Yancey. What else do we have? Addressing homosexuality, compassion, and clarity. So Sean McDowell is going to show us how to address that with compassion and clarity. Probably we're going to have to never mind preaching sin. Probably we're just going to have to accept them. You can predict this stuff. Just read the headlines. Best decisions. 10 best decisions a mom can make by Pam Farrell. And what does that mean? 10 best decisions. Well, that's a self-help book. That's not from the Bible. That's just self-help again. Unpacking 7 Family Ministry Essentials by Michelle Anthony, a woman. She's going to unpack it for us. The women who are in ministry today, they're always going to unpack something for us. They love it. They're unpacking. They're addicted to that word. They're going to unpack it. Nobody has unpacked that luggage before but them. They're going to do it. What else do we have? Tomies. Yeah, listen to this. Sometimes life hands you broken toes. And Elijah Tyndall with John Neufeld is going to help us heal those broken parts. That's a good way to put it, eh? We've got broken toes, and he's going to mend them for us. Couldn't come up with anything better than that. The Weed or the Seed, Elijah Tyndall with John Neufeld. What does a successful tattooed comedian have to share? He's learned to grow the right seeds inside. Never mind God growing his seed inside you. No, learn how to do it yourself. Plant your own seed in your own soul. Do it with tattoos and a comedy act. That is going to do it, apparently. What else do we have? What do Christians do with media? Video games, music, TV, movies, they're all part of our lives. Yeah, you see there it is. I mean, it's all part of our lives. And so we just, I guess we got to give into it. What are we going to do with it? We have to play video games, we have to do carnal music, we have to watch TV, and we have to watch the latest movies. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to sin a little bit better than we're doing now? And they're going to tell us how to do that. What else do we have? Drums Beyond the Boom Chick by Callum Rees. So why don't we take those drums and throw them outside the church? That would be the best way to get beyond the boom chick, I think. That would be the best way. This thing is so big, it's like the New York Times, because it's going to be such a big event. It's monstrous. Huge. Now really, when we come right down to it, what is Break Forth all about? I'm going to tell you what it's about. Here's what it's about, essentially. Night of worship concert, comedy concert, okay? This is what it's really about. Enjoy meals prepared by the award-winning culinary staff at the Edmonton Expo Center. You can get a room at the Chateau Lacombe, at the Coast Edmonton Plaza Hotel, at the Comfort Inn and Suites, Courtyard by Marriott, Delta Edmonton Center Suite Hotel, the Holiday Inn Express downtown, or the Sutton Place Hotel. These are the suggested places for you to stay, because it's all about comfort. It's all about doing this false praise and worship where you have your hand up and you're looking really spiritual. That's what it's all about. We're going to go there, we're going to eat, we're going to have a comedy act, we're going to rejoice in the carnal music of the world, and we're going to go and have these fancy meals and stay at these posh motels, and we're going to call that spiritual growth. We're going to call that extravagant grace, when it has nothing to do with grace. It has nothing to do with spirituality. It's false, counterfeit religion. That's what it all is. And when you receive stuff like that in the mail, you ought to tell yourself, what better could I be doing with my time? Go and get something like Jonathan Edwards' History of Redemption. Read that. Go and get John Bunyan's A Few Sighs from Hell. Read that. Or go and get Lloyd Jones's 2-volume exposition of the Sermon on the Mount and read that, and you will never want to go to see stuff like this ever again. And I'm so glad that I have never been to a Breakforth meeting or conference or whatever it's called, and I've only been to one Promise Keepers meeting, and I'll never go again. This stuff is no good. It's good for nothing. And if you want to have the best of what they can offer, the apologetics, well, you don't have to go there. You could just order an apologetics manual. And really, apologetics isn't going to get you very far. You have to preach the gospel. That's what it comes down to. You have to do what the apostles did, and you have to lay it out in a plain manner and not caring about whose feelings get hurt.